Okay, this is a video for beginners, and I am new to YouTube instructional videos, but I feel like I can share a lot of information with you. I've been an artist for 20 years, and I just want to show you some really cool things after you do an acrylic pour that you can even do as well and make wonderful gift items. I just wanted to show you this right here is a ring from the pores that have dripped off of paint on a piece of paper, on craft paper, and you peel it off. You can make rings. You can make earrings. Isn't that gorgeous? Here's a necklace. Here's a bookmark. Here's a bracelet cuff that I have not received the glass that goes on top. Some people pour resin. I just use the glass. It's much easier. And once I get that, I will be putting a piece in here to match the rest of the jewelry. But I just had to share this with you because I think it's just fantastic. And when I say after you pour, you have pieces like this, and you can see the hole that I cut out for one of the earrings, and it's the paint that has dried on paper, and I put the glass down, glued it on, cut it out, and it goes into the earring. But this is just leftover paint that has dripped onto the paper. Also, here's some more that's got some glitter in it. I don't know if you can see that glitter. Here I put a little bit of one color on one side of and actually it's a photo paper, and you can use old photos. You don't want the paper too thick, and it will not peel off of photo paper, but it's still a great surface to put your extra paint on. So I'm going to take my jewelry off and move these out of the way. First of all, acrylic pour paintings are extremely messy, so you want to have a pretty good surface sized area. This is a dining room table of mine. I'm working out of my kitchen. And I have a piece of plastic, cheap plastic painter's, wrap that I put over the table. And then I purchased a roll of craft paper, and I think there's 100 feet on it. I got it at Hobby Lobby. You can look at different areas. You can look online on Amazon and find whatever kind of paper you like. But I do like about this paper, and I'll show you a piece off of the corner. It has a shiny side, which is slick, and it has a regular side, which is just like regular paper. So I put the shiny side up on the table surface, and when the paint falls on the paper from the painting and drips on here, you can easily wipe it because it has a plastic coating, or you can let the dry on it like this, and you have wonderful acrylic skins to do jewelry with and projects. So I just wanted to share that with you. As far as what you will be pouring on, I just actually wanted to show you. This is actually a box lid. I've got to paint the inside of it. It goes on a box that you put photos and bills and things like that inside of, and I've got that I'm finishing up to sell as a Christmas gift. but it's wood. So you have wooden items, and I wanted to show you this, and they're super easy to pour on. There's also something that looks like a canvas, but it's all wood. Top, bottom, everything. Perfectly smooth, slick surface. It is the artist panel. This is a higher quality cradled wooden canvas. So it's not canvas material, it is all wood, and it's pre-primed with white, super smooth, and it's ready to go. And you're always going to want to put whatever you're pouring a little higher than your paper so that it's not sitting in a puddle of paint. So like for this thing, I would put 2 small cups, something like that, and then it sits above the surface and it has room for the paint to pour off of. This is a canvas I'll be pouring on today. This is, I think, 16 by 20. It's a deep canvas, so it's a little nicer than your regular canvases. And then you put push pins in the corners of your canvas, and that you can put right down on your surface, and it still gives enough room underneath so that you don't have the canvas sitting in a puddle of paint. So with all your canvases, you stick push pins in the 4 corners, and that will keep your paint and your canvas separate from each. I'm going to show you the different products that I use and the different things I use, and this is just, I've got a selection of things. You can use any craft paint. You can use the craft paints that start at 50 cents to 79 cents and go up to the student or the more professional grade paints like Liquitex. And I'll just show you an example. Here is the really cheap Craft Smart paint that is definitely under $1. Here is Americana by Deco Art, and it's probably $1.50 or a little bit more, but a little better quality and a little thicker. Then you go up to the Liquitex Basics. This is $5 for a tube. It's going to be even thicker than these. Keep that in mind. And then you can go on to, you can use acrylics that come in a tube. This is going to be thicker than the Liquitex Basics. There's also, this is Vallejo, V-A-L-L-E-J-O. This is a liquid, fluid color. Golden has fluid colors as well. You can hear it in the bottle, it is more wet, but the pigment is very concentrated. So for the very beginner, you can start by mixing your colors in a very small cup if you want to. I'm going to use, these are the little 3 or 4 ounce bathroom cups. These are the little mini solo cups. Actually, I'll do it in the mini solo cup, just to give you an example of how I mix something. And that's the next thing. What do you mix it with? There are some expensive pouring mediums and so forth that you can mix into your paint. They can get kind of pricey. I wanted to show you, this is Vallejo pouring medium, gloss medium. I have a little squirt bottle, and in here I'll do about 80% gloss medium and about 20% pouring medium. The pouring medium is almost like water as far as the consistency. The gloss medium, you can see it's very fluid, it's milky. You mix those together and you can put that into your paint. But that, you have to get it off the internet from an art store. It's a little bit hard to find, and it's, I don't remember how much, $10 to $15 I think per bottle. It goes a good amount of distance with it, but if you're doing a lot, it's not going to last you super long. So I wanted to show you that. Some people use Elmer's glue. I have a gallon of it. I bought it online. You can sometimes find it in dollar stores or somewhere. Obviously, Elmer's glue is cheap. That's other one you can use. My personal choice is Flood brand Floetrol, and it has to say latex based. That means it's water based. It's meant to put into acrylic paint. You can get it at hardware stores. You can order it online. I want to say this gallon was about $16 at the most. They also sell it in, I think, a quart, in a smaller, thin bottle. This goes a long way. I say it's pretty inexpensive because you can do quite a bit with this. This is what I recommend. Some people start with paint and water strictly. I like to add something to it. The paint and water, it gets really wet and runny, and it sometimes does not hold the color as well. So this is my choice. I pour this straight into my colors, and the key is to mix your paint and your extender. We'll call this an extender or a medium. And remember, it is latex based, so that means it's water based. It says paint additive. It goes with your water based acrylics. You can also use latex acrylic wall paint. You make sure it's water based. You can use that if you have cans sitting around with that. I also put that in a squirt bottle just to have on hand to mix into things kind of quickly on smaller levels. I also want to show you one more thing. Since I do a lot of mixing and pouring, instead of pouring into my cups, I have gone to bottles. This is like a mustard and ketchup bottle. I have red in this one and yellow in this one. These came from the dollar store. They're pretty good. They're pretty sturdy. They don't have any tops, so you have to put something over it, like tape or whatever, to seal it when you're finished with it. But if you mix up a large quantity like this, then you've got lots of paint to do many pours, so it lasts a long time. The quality of the bottle is pretty nice. These also came from the dollar store. They're squishy. They have this little thing that you can put over, and it pops down and it closes off and keeps your paint sealed up. The problem is when you undo it, you get paint that kind of flies everywhere. So I don't like that, and I don't like the fact that the bottle is so squishy. It's not super sturdy, and sometimes it can be an issue. So I have, many of these from the dollar store. I will not be buying any more. I did order some online. They came in a 6-pack, and they have the actual ounces here. And let me show you. This is just one. It was a 6-pack, and the nice thing about this is they're harder bottles. They're nice and firm. They have a lid that screws off, and it's nice and neat. There's no tabs. when you unscrew it, the paint doesn't squirt out at you. So these are my favorite. I'm going to be ordering more of these. I looked long and hard, and these are the ones I like the best. So once again, there's 6 packs on Amazon, and you can always shop around in different places, but they have measurements, and I don't pay attention to that as much. I just like the fact that they're sturdy bottles, and they have a screw-on lid, which makes it super easy. I even picked up smaller bottles somewhere, probably at a dollar store, and those, you know, they work okay, but you still have the little pop-on tab, and when you pull it off, you have to be careful because sometimes paint will fly everywhere. Okay, and then the other thing, generally when you're doing a pour painting, is white and black are going to be your good friends. They're kind of, you know, used pretty frequently with any mixture of colors. I wanted to show you, these are $10 at Michael's. Artist Loft. They're called Flow Acrylic. They come in a quart. I always have white and black on hand. And I will add my Floetrol to these as well. But these are pre-made flow acrylics, so you have larger quantities, and they're $10 at Michael's, and I always use coupons to get them 40–50% off. You have your craft paper down. Popsicle sticks are great stirs. You can get them at the dollar store in a big old pack. Okay, so this is Coral Blush. I'm just going to show you quickly how I mix up a cup. I'm going to pour in, that's probably not even an ounce, but you know, you just visually look and see how much you have poured in. And then from my gallon, which is almost empty, I'm going to pour in about the same amount of Floetrol as I had paint. Then I take my popsicle stick and I mix it up. And it's very important that you put your medium, whether it's Floetrol or Vallejo or Golden's medium or Liquitex medium, whatever medium you add to your paint. To me, it's important to add it to your paint first before you add any water. And this gives it a chance to bind with the paint like it's meant to be. That's the way they manufacture it, is to bind with your paint. Okay, so right now it's almost where I want it to be, but it's a little bit too thick. You want your paint to pour off your stick like warm honey. This is almost there. So this is where I keep a little water around. Some people use droppers. They might put it in a squirt bottle and squirt it in. You see too how I've filled this cup up pretty quickly. It was less than half paint, and then the other portion was Floetrol, an equal amount roughly, but I'm not measuring. It's not that big of a deal to measure stuff out. You can eyeball it. Now I've added my water at the end. Okay, it's dripping. It's still not pouring off exactly the way I want it to. So I'm going to add just a little bit more. So I'm stirring this up. You don't want to do it really vigorously, because then you get a lot of bubbles. But you scrape around the edges of the cup. You make sure that paint is mixed in really well with the Floetrol and the water. You know, sometimes It depends on the brand of paint. Because this is Americana, it is thicker than the cheapest craft paint. The cheap craft paint, I probably would not have added any water because it was wetter. As your paint gets better quality, it gets thicker. It just depends. After you add your medium, which is Floetrol for me, you have to make sure that you have a nice dripping, like warm honey kind of feel to it. I'm going to put just a little bit more. And I know this is going to be it for the water. I'm not adding any more water to it. And now it drips off the stick like I want it to. I mix in baby food containers. I have a grandbaby, and so sometimes things get mixed and all kinds of funny stuff. When I'm doing larger quantities for bottles, I still mix it like in a big cup first, so I can do my popsicle stick test and make sure it's the right consistency, and then I put it into the squeeze bottle, because once it's in that squeeze bottle, you can't really test the consistency of the paint. So there's that. I just wanted to show you how I mixed it. One other thing, silicone. Some people use hair roll, some people use WD-40. I started out using liquid wrench. It has a little straw and you spray, but it kind of goes everywhere. Then I ordered treadmill lubricant, 100% silicone, online. A drop or two, that's all you need for a quantity this small. This is what helps give you the cells, because it kind of separates the paint and makes it pull away and makes these beautiful cells. Now in bigger bottles, I'm going to add more than a few drops, but that is the lubricant I use. I like it because I can squeeze and drip and control it instead of spraying something. So that's my choice for the silicone. So you need popsicle sticks to mix your colors in your cups. The other thing that people like to do when you've poured your paint is to torch it with heat to make the cells pop and come out and to get rid of air bubbles. And when you do that, it works beautifully. I switched to a heat gun, and I think I paid $20 for this at Northern Tools. You can order it and have it shipped straight to you, or you can go hunt one down. They're probably at any hardware store. Just the cheapest heat gun. On low, it puts out warm heat, but it doesn't blow like a blow dryer. I would not suggest a blow dryer because that's going to blow your paint around, and you don't want to do that. I want to show you an example. These are two paintings I did last week. This is one that has not been sealed. It's just had the acrylic pour paint that has gone over it, and it's dried for about a week. I don't know if you can tell, but it's not shiny. It looks fabulous the way it is. I just wanted to show you the difference. That is one that has no clear coat on it. This is my dragon one. It turned out looking like a dragon. I love it. It's sold, but I have a shiny clear coat on top of it to seal it, and it's nice and slick. It's all protected, and the clear coat just brings the color a little bit more to you. It just makes it more vibrant. It gives it more depth. It makes it more beautiful. So when people talk about sealing something when you're finished, you put a clear coat over it if you would like. You do not have to, but I wanted to show you the difference in this being kind of a matte finish and this being a gloss finish. So you have that shine. Now what I've used with these, if it's warm outside, I like Krylon has triple thick crystal clear glaze. They also have one, it's got a picture of a blue vase or pot on it. It's got something about triple thick clear. So this is a good spray. Or if it's a little cooler and you can't go outside and spray, you can use, I've got this, this will cover many canvases. It will last you quite a long time. Polyacrylic, water-based. Everything here is water-based except for the treadmill, which is silicone. This is clear gloss, so it's the shiniest finish you can get. And you just use a sponge brush. This one has been used multiple times, but I use something like this because it gives a nice smooth coat with no brush strokes. So I wanted to show you that.